overall?
Yeah, obviously last game of the season, the switch to it being here at home versus away at San Diego. Obviously created some opportunities throughout the match. I think now is the right time. It's the end of season. It's time to reflect. It's time to understand and prepare for next season. So that process starts very quickly. Obviously, we're able to get some players some minutes today that we were very pleased with. Those players, what they did with their minutes. And so, yeah, I think right now it's just the time to reflect.
How different was the lineup or the approach tonight, given what the stakes were versus, the playoff spot?
Yeah, no, I think it's no secret when the games are like offset like that. It's no secret that you're looking at the Portland match, and when the Portland match goes the way it does, then you're looking at the Bay match, and when it goes the way that it does, and you know that you're coming out and you're playing your last match. And it's really important professionally that you find the motivation and you understand that there is still motivation. You're playing in front of your home crowd, and you want to close out the season on a good note.
Was it disruptive having plans change so last minute to be here in Louisville?
It was obviously changed very last minute. You're obviously preparing to do something, but with the idea that you don't have to travel, you don't have to do that long trip, you don't have to deal with the time change. So it's disruptive, but we also got to stay in our own beds. We got to stay in our own routines in that space. So disruptive, but disruptive. I feel like that benefited us. Is what I'll say to that. Yeah.
3 debuts, like you said tonight. What did you see from them?
Yeah, no, I thought Ange looked very good on the ball. I thought she looked really confident in her defending abilities, especially coming out, stepping in central, which I was very pleased with. Very calm on the ball. Obviously Millie having an opportunity higher up the pitch, wanted to see her ability in a pressing mechanism. I thought she got on it a few times, held it up for us. Half of that when you're coming in is the nerves of I'm in, I'm here, get me on the ball early, getting into the game itself early is a lot. And I thought the team helped them adapt to that as quickly as possible. So yeah, very pleased, very happy for them.
Switching defenders is difficult. How do you specifically think Angie?
Yeah, I think it is. And later in a match, I thought she did well. I thought she did well, especially because towards the tail end, we went to a little bit of a chasing strategy. Operated in a little bit of a 3-1-6 for the last 5 or 6 minutes or so. Had them rounding out with Abby, Ange, and Lowe, sending court a little bit higher to help get us services in the box. So not only did she adapt to obviously the game plan itself from a structure standpoint, but then also the change from a chasing strategy in game. So yeah, I thought she processed it all very professionally.
You take time off now, or is it just right into thinking about next season?
Yeah, no. I think everybody needs a little bit of a mental break, don't they? An opportunity to unwind, process everything, and then take the time to process it. And what that looks like for everybody is different. Obviously, we'll have our closing meetings, these types of things. So the next few days will be busy for ourselves and the players to close out the season. But once it's officially closed out, I'll take a week off to reflect on everything for sure.
Yeah. How do you reflect on your first season as a coach? What did you learn?
Yeah. I think there's a lot to process. I think there was things midway through season I thought I would do differently. I also think that process never stops. I think you should still say that 10 years in. You're just more experienced in certain areas, aren't you? So yeah, I think there's a lot that I will reflect on. There's a lot of notes I've taken throughout the year to be the best version that I can for the group and continue to be better every chance I can. Because if I'm asking that of them, I should be asking the same of myself. So there will be a lot of thought process on my end and reflection on my end of how I can, of course, be better in every aspect.
I do have one from Paul Miles on Zoom. He says, with racing yet to make the playoffs, you feel like the pieces are in place to end the drought and make that run next year?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things if you go and look at data and statistics and areas that we have improved and areas that we feel obviously we wanted to be in a playoff position, didn't we? And it came down to the last week. We were the only team outside of playoffs that was still in contention to be in playoffs. I think it says a lot about what we were able to achieve. Of course, you could go early on and say, okay, we could have done this in this game. We could have done that in that game. We gave this up late. What would that have meant to us now? But there's only so far of that you could do. Because the reality is this is our scenario. And I think we have to take the lessons as much as possible that we received early on to help us be better, not only now, but in the future.